uniquely fortunate as a zone to have all DAC-DB districts across the zone, meaning you all have a common tool set and you all have some experiences and talents that you can share with each other. We're also reviving what was called the District Communication Officer Program when DAC-DB was initially rolled out, and varying different time frames with some of you 10 to 12 years ago. And the DCOs were initially, that was an idea invented by Mike Thacker, sort of a remake of the county agent idea. And that's the go-to person in your district. So I hope you will work tightly with your DCO, maybe use the DCO as part of your training plan. And what I want to show you today was some tools in DAC-DB that you'll not only want to use yourself, but you'll also want to train to your district. So this is some of the information in your planning guide. There's a section on how will we support the DAC-DB tools, and this is part of that is training the clubs how to use them. First thing I want to mention is you may or may not have the DAC-DB CRM icon on your workspace. If that's not the case, then you simply go to the configuration icon up here at the top right-hand corner, click on that, and it opens a field of, these are all of the available icons of features in DAC-DB. You just click and drag those from the available up into the yellow icons displayed, and as a result, the CRM icon will appear on your desktop. So my CRM icon is up the top of the list because I've been using this myself actively for about the past 60 days since it's been rolled out. I'm managing 60 prospects for my own club. Club of 250 members turns over about 45 a year. We turn over 1.5 average Rotary clubs. So we need about 60 active prospects in play in order to just cover that churn. So we'll click on the CRM icon. And this opens up what's called the Prospect Management View. And I want to point out a couple of things. First of all, there are some various views in these drop-downs. We're looking here at the Managed Prospects, and we're looking at the Club view, using my own club as the example. Now, there are also views of prospects that are not managed. What would that mean? That would mean anybody who's in a club database under either proposed or potential member. Those are the two member categories that are available in DAC-DB for pull into the management. Now, the reason that they're not all there is my club, for example, has 360 potential members in its target list. You can't manage 360 of anything, but with this tool I can manage about 60 of them. So I pull those over into the CRM. Now over here on the left-hand side then, you see on the left column, you see the current pipeline status, how far we've moved that prospect along towards a decision about Rotary. And you also see the member type. You'll see some of those are proposed members and some of those are potential members.
Terry, on your heads up video thing that you sent, I picked up on something that said a Rotary International prospective member will get sent directly to XYZ. But why wouldn't it go directly into the Z Club that you mentioned in there for us to manage, as opposed to going? I'm just curious if...
Let me cover that.
It's coming up.
Section, yeah.
Okay, sorry.
In the interface with the RI leads.
Okay.
But I will get there. So let's click on Kristen here, and this is what the drill down into any one of these given prospects looks like. And I'll point out several things. First of all, this pipeline idea. Has anybody in your work life ever used a customer relationship management or CRM system? So you're not seeing anything unfamiliar here. This looks very Salesforce-like. And it moves from the left-hand end, which is not managed. In other words, that's where somebody would appear for the first time. And then it moves to inquiry and club matching, and those are the two categories where you'll find a downloaded RI lead. They'll either be in the inquiry stage, or if they've been connected up to a club already, they'll be in the club matching stage. One of the categories there is what we call interested, and interested means that we've been through the communication cycle, the attraction cycle with the prospect, we've had them to either a membership event such as a Discover Rotary event, or we've had them to a club meeting, and they've come back and said, yeah, that's something I'm really interested in. I got to think about that, or I've got to check with my employer, I've got to talk to my wife, whatever. But I'm considering joining, so that's interesting. Now down here in this past activities category is where the most valuable part of this is. This is a collaborative tool. Anybody with level 4 access in the club can access this tool, meaning a club officer. And that means the membership chair, the president-elect, the club secretary, perhaps a part-time staff person if the club's that large. People can all participate in managing these prospects. In our club, we've got 3 people working this list of six prospects. I'm the vice membership chair. Our membership chair is also our president nominee, and we've also got a part-time paid staff person. So all of us are in there, and we're leaving tracks for each other. So whenever we communicate with one of these prospects, we pick one of these categories over here in the activities, and we log it either as a call or a note. You can also send an email directly to the prospect out of this tool. You can also assign a task. I usually use this with sponsors. I have found, your mileage may vary, but I have found that sponsors are particularly poor at following up on their own prospects. They'll bring somebody to Discover Rotary, but then they have a nice lunch and they say they're interested, or perhaps we haven't gotten them to that point, and the sponsor will likely drop those. I spend a few minutes, probably an hour, on Saturday mornings just paging through these prospects to see if the needle's moved, and if it hasn't, then I'll send a ping, an email ping out of this tool to the sponsor and say, Ed, would you check in with Charlie and see how he's doing as far as his decision about Rotary? There are a set of reports as well, as you might expect. One of my personal favorites is the member profile report. This is everything we know about this potential member. Name, of course, sponsor, all his contact information, and all the next steps or past activities, all the tracks that have been left by whomever has touched this prospect. So this, I really believe this will increase your close ratio, your hit ratio, by at least double. If you get your clubs to actively pay attention to their prospects and actively track them, rather than just hope somehow that the sponsor or maybe the membership chair, that somebody's going to keep that prospect on their radar screen, because I found that these will dissipate very quickly. I've also made the comment that in my situation, where I'm dealing with a lot of these, in many cases I've only met this person once. I've seen them at a Discover Rotary, and there were 8 other people in the room. I don't know these folks. I mean, I'm acquainted but not knowledgeable. I can't remember that any given prospect told me 10 days ago that they were going to send me a membership proposal, or that they needed to think about it, or whatever their last comment was. So this tool is absolutely essential in that respect. So I'm interested in, have some of you thought about a rollout plan to your district? Ed and I have been working on this in our district this week, literally. And so we basically put out a link to the video. We put out the same information that you got in advance of this meeting, and asked our clubs to get engaged with this prospect management tool. Anybody thought about a rollout plan for their district that they'd be willing to share?
Thought about it.
Thought about it?
I haven't worked on it yet.
Okay. Now, I'll answer the question about RI membership leads. Excuse me. In the opening page, you'll see the green button, the only green button on that page, Import RI Leads. That is usable by anybody who has sufficient access in My Rotary to get the prospect list that Rebecca was showing yesterday. That's downloadable as a CSV file, and it's all the information that the person entered when they came into My Rotary. And one of the things you'll notice is some of these people have been in there 2, 3, 4 times. But because we assign them an RI ID at the outset, then when we upload these into DAC-DB, it deduplicates that. In other words, we're not going to reload the same person again because they're tagged to the same RIID. We'll recognize that and not bring them in again. So you can download your, in some cases, 100+ district membership leads, and then you can just import those into DAC-DB on a regular basis, refreshing the new ones, and they will not overwrite, they'll not duplicate because they're tagged to that Rotary ID. Now, to the question about where do they go? They go into one of two buckets. If you have worked it, as Rebecca demonstrated yesterday, if you worked it on the RI side to where you assigned this to a club, it'll come down to that club. Only makes sense, right? If it's been assigned in RI to a club, when it comes into DAC-DB, it will drop into that club in the leads management. Now, of course, you can see that because you can use the district view, and you can see all the leads that have gone to all the clubs and which club they were assigned to. If they're not assigned to a club, they'll come into a phantom club. It's one of the Z clubs. It's down at the bottom of the club sort in DAC-DB. And that's a bucket where we bring the unassigned leads. And then, of course, as a level 6 or 7 in most districts, as a district membership chair, you can assign those leads to a club. When we do this, when Eric has done this in our district, when he does this, he'll usually also use the task assignment tool to send a ping to the club president and or secretary. You can contact them in that and let them know that I've assigned this lead to your club. Please follow up with the lead. Let me know how that works out.
Follow up on the green button.
Uh-huh.
Can it be like if two people catch the thing at the same time? Is it a chance for two of them to do the download, or is it just one time only?
You can download to your heart's content and import to your heart's content, and it won't duplicate.
Okay.
You can do it several times a day. You get the same result.
Okay.
Question back.
Here I'm looking at mine, and of course I don't have a green button on mine. Is that green button on here only when we have access?
Yes, in the setup of the CRM tool, your DCO or somebody with level 6 or 7 or 8 access determines what level of authority is required to see the lead upload.
Okay, so that's up to our individual district to set up.
It is a district setting, yes.
Okay, so I have to go back to them and get that.
Yeah, touch base with your DCO and figure that out.
Okay, thank you.
It comes out of the box at level 7, so it's plausible that some of you don't have that level. Now that can be, the district can handle that either two ways. I think you're level 6 right now, right? They can either elevate you to a level 7 or reduce the level requirement to do the RI lead import to 6. Either way.
Okay, but that's up to our local folks.
Right, that's a district function.
Terry, in my case, do I have to get in touch with all of the districts?
You have to get in touch
Yeah,
with...
so that I can get the green button, because I don't have the green button, but I'm covering 5 districts, and so I have to get with each DCO to get access?
I have, in the case of the ARCs, I've requested from DAC-DB level 7 access for all of you, so that problem should be resolved. If you're saying that hasn't happened yet, I'll ping them again.
Thanks.
Terry, since this hasn't been rolled out, this is a theoretical question. In a district that really doesn't have a lot of big clubs, 55 clubs, maybe 10, you can categorize as big. It's going to be hard to get the small and medium-sized clubs to use this.
You're right.
Would you suggest that we first try, since there's going to be some hands-on, to roll this out to the big clubs? Makes sense there. And then later see who else will come on board?
That's probably a pretty good strategy. Now, we've been talking for 3 years with these clubs about using the potential member category and actually putting their potential members in DAC-DB. What you'll find is these same small clubs are not doing that either. So they're not even doing the initial step. And so I think selling it down from the big clubs and maybe get a little testimonial buzz going is probably a pretty good strategy.
When you deal with the big clubs, my thought is it would be president, membership chair, and secretary. Is Is that how you would approach it?
Those would be the players you'd expect to be in this tool, yes. I'm not, when I send one of these pings to a sponsor about, you know, we should check with Charlie and see where he is in his decision-making process, I don't ask them to go make that entry. I ask them to just email me back. Let me know. Now, this is not a tool that I expect the general membership to be using. And in fact, a general member at level 1 or 2, I can't get in there at all.
Terry, how much editing do you have to do to the Excel spreadsheet?
Zero. Pull it down exactly as the instructions point out. When you click the green button up at the top, there's a link of a really explicit set of instructions. If you pull it down in exactly that format, just save it anywhere on your computer and click the import leads button and it comes right in. You don't have to touch it. Okay, I wanted to quickly point out some other tools beyond CRM that you'll want to use as district membership chairs. And those are district committees. If you go to the district tab in DAC-DB, and this will be on your configuration, you don't have to pull this out of the icon, this is out of the box. District committees, and I want to mention that you can move these tiles, you can drag these tiles around on your desktop. So the things that you use the most, you can drag up into the top row. And this is a district committee listing. I want to point out, first of all, that it will default to the current organizational year. We're mostly focused here on 1920. So that'd be the first thing you want to do, is click the Change Organizational Year button and switch to 1920. Then you get the list of district committees for 2019-20. Now, all the club officer committees, there's what's called a roll key on a club officer. All the club officers that have been properly defined in their individual clubs auto roll up into these committees. So there's no maintenance required of this. What you'll notice here are the ones of interest to you: district membership chairs, club president nominees, presidents, sitting presidents, and presidents-elect. I want to show you the district membership chairs committee. Of course, this is for our district. These are the district membership chairs down below. Nice picture of Ed Irick up here as the super chair of the club membership chairs. We have 50 clubs in our district. There's only 27 posted as of this week. We got 27 clubs, which is frankly in this time frame pretty good. We got 57 club membership chairs identified out of 50. What about the rest? Easy deal. Click the missing club button and you get a list of the MIAs. So you go back to those presidents, either email, phone, whatever, and say, or those presidents-elect, and say, hey, what's the story? If you've identified a district club membership chair, it's not identified in DAC-DB, and districts vary in how they intend to do this. I'm not a big proponent of teaching a club officer who's going to be in the chair 1 year how to do those functions. Some are, some aren't. If they'll tell us as a district team who those people are, we'll do it for them. It doesn't matter to me who it is that actually enters the PE, the club membership chair, the club foundation chair, all that sort of thing, as long as it gets in. Now, there's also a feature here called group to group. And group to group is a super committee. So for the purpose of, and you heard in John's video, his suggestion was that you send your membership information, your monthly membership update to your clubs, to both the president and the membership chair and probably the secretary. You can group those 3 committees together into a single female group and female in one shot. The advantage to that is it's deduplicated. If somebody happens to be a club president and also identify themselves as the membership chair for whatever reason, or perhaps the club secretary is also the membership chair, then we won't send them 2 emails if you bundle those 3 committees together. So these are committees, again, of club chairs. They roll up automatically into these club leadership committees in the committee section of DAC-DB. Questions about that before we go on?
Where was missing?
I'm sorry?
You said.
Are you in the committee?
No, not this picture. Okay.
Okay. In the committee, you'll find the missing clubs button. So you see the ones that are accounted for down below, hit the missing clubs button, you get a pop-up with MIAs. I want to also mention another reason to bring these potential members into DACDB, and that is that you have the opportunity to do some drip marketing with these folks. Anybody heard of drip marketing? Somebody hazard a definition? Anybody?
Continue to read.
In a positive.
You can make waterboard.
This is what my personal favorite research source, Wikipedia, says. It's a communication strategy that sends or drips a pre-written set of messages to customers or prospects over time. These messages also often take the form of email marketing, although other media can be used. Most other media, such as direct mail, is not practical for us. Not only that, it doesn't work. So what messages? We're talking about e-newsletters or e-bulletins. If the club is doing a newsletter anyway, if the club is sending something, as it ought to be sending something to its club members to keep them up to date, we can send that to prospects every now and then. Now, don't beat them up with it. If you produce a bulletin for each of 4 or 5 meetings a month, don't send all of those to your potential members. Maybe send 1 a month or 2 at the most. News releases, event announcements, major project activities, project work days, basically anything that you think that somebody not yet in the club might have an interest in. And the whole idea here is to flash that brand, to flash that Rotary logo and that compliant club logo made out of the club logo template up on their email box at least once a month.
Terry, I don't know if anybody's tried it or not, but in my business, I'm doing it now. And it's really working, website-wise and email.
Yeah,
it's doing videos.
Videos.
Do a video on iPhone, download it, put it in the, people listen to a 5-minute or a 3-minute video, quicker than they'll read it, usually, or anything like this.
Yeah. And
personal invitation from the president, from the club to a prospective member, really made
put a face on it.
Entice it, yeah.
Now, how you would do that, then let me quickly point out how simple this is. How you would do that is you'd upload that video to a posting site, YouTube being the most common, Vimeo is another option. And then what you do is take a snapshot, a snag it, or what's it called?
Thumbnail.
A thumbnail, or you use a window snipping tool, whatever, to grab that icon. And people are used to clicking on, to seeing those and clicking on them. So put that image in the email body, and then link it back to the YouTube video link in the back end. It's 4 mouse clicks for somebody that's even slightly proficient with these tools. Not difficult to do. And let's point out to the clubs that the president doesn't have to learn to do this himself. Somebody else can figure out how to do this. What audiences? In Rotary, of course, we want to communicate with their part of member retention is keeping members attuned to what's going on in the club. If they're not coming to meetings, at least maybe we can send them something on occasion and say, hey, there is something going on here if you show up. Prospective or potential members, proposed members, we have a group called Friends of Rotary. We also capture guests, maybe or maybe not potential members, but they came to a meeting once with one of our members. We'll ping them every now and then. Now this is a fully compliant email tool. There's a set of laws called the CAN-SPAM laws. They put a set of requirements in place that emails must comply to. The DACDB emails comply to that. If somebody doesn't want to hear from us again, there's one subscribe right at the bottom. They click that, we'll never bother them with it again. You can use Outlook, you can use personal email, or you can use this tool you've got at your fingertips. That's free. So we use DACDB email, and we simply switch over to either the other or potential member types tab. Click email all, and you'll send that message, that drip marketing message, to each of those folks. This is, if you're already producing an electronic bulletin or newsletter, this is no more than 7 minutes additional work to put that up into a drip marketing tool. And point out, you can also schedule them. Doesn't matter when you're doing this. Probably not a good idea to send it out at 10 o'clock on Saturday night. 10 o'clock on Friday evening, probably not going to get a lot of readership, but you could schedule it for 9:30 Tuesday morning and go on with the rest of your weekend. It'll go out automatically. Automatically. Yeah. And this is how simple that is. This is what my club looks like. Has this little masthead, has a little graphic in it, and then basically a link to the current bulletin. It's personalized. We know their first name, so we merge that right into the email body. It appears that we sent them something individually. How to get help? I'll point out the help tab in DACDB, which is unusually good. Most software help tabs are not very good. This one happens to be. And your district designated help, your DCO, will be listed over on the right-hand side. That's, of course, the second source of help. So the order is find it yourself in the help tab, touch base at home with your DCO. If that doesn't work, I'm sort of the zone communication officer, self-appointed. Maybe Peter will continue that, maybe not. And of course, then we go back to DACDB, which with ordinary user questions, we try not to bother them. That just adds to their overhead. So you can send something to support@dacdb.com if it clearly appears to be broken. Any questions on this?